Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, Lore and Fray, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. I am absolutely in love with Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I think Metroid Prime Remastered is great. I think it's getting a lot of attention. I think it's very popular, but I think fans really should not be sleeping on Kirby because Kirby I think is actually the better remake. Now, obviously, I think Metroid Prime was a better game overall to begin with, and that Nintendo didn't really need to do anything with the remastered version to make it more interesting or sell it to a new audience. But HAL Labs, I think, is one of those companies that has really been nailing the concept of the remake, like really hitting it out of the park. You know, one of my first Kirby games ever was Kirby Superstar Ultra on the DS, and that was my introduction to just really becoming a Kirby fan because I really appreciated like the creativity of the modes and the new features and the visual upgrade, so much so that I still to this day have never gone back and played the original. I consider Ultra to be the definitive version of the game, and I think Return to Dreamland Deluxe is in the exact same boat. Now, maybe not to quite the same extent. I think like Superstar Ultra came out long after the Super Nintendo original. I think like how technology advanced a lot more in that period of time. I think they added a ton more content. But Return to Dreamland Deluxe really do a lot in making the core gameplay faster, more fluid, more interesting, pleasant to look at, while still adding a considerable amount of new content to it. I was very, very surprised when I first booted up the game and realized that, like, this Kirby game that I kind of slept on, not only when it just first came out, but when I played it last, this Kirby game that I've played before was actually feeling fresh, new, and exciting. And I think that's one of those things that a lot of people are kind of forgetting about these remakes, is that it is very possible for Nintendo to make these games better. Like we're so used to like remakes like missing out on something or like not recapturing what made the original great, but Return to Dreamland knows what it wanted to do, what it wanted to like improve on, what it wanted to like tighten up and make better, and it delivered that on that in spades. You know, I've gone on record saying Forgotten Land, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is one of the best Kirby games ever, the best Kirby game of all time, and Return to Dreamland Deluxe is honestly a pretty good follow up in that sense, where like it really showcases the where the franchise has been for the past 10 years. A new 2D entry following a massively popular 3D entry, that's not a bad thing, honestly. I think too many people really downplay these 2D games and kind of ignore them and try to write them off and try to play them off as if they're like low budget, low effort, not worth your time compared to like real 3D games. But I don't think that's fair at all. I love Forgotten Land. I I will always I've always like said that it was like my second favorite game last year. But like to say that Return to Dreamland is not great in its own right. To say that like Deluxe isn't like fantastic, that would be doing the game a very, very big disservice. So if you haven't played Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, I would highly recommend you go out and do that right now. This is a really solid, really engaging, very fresh new game on Nintendo Switch.